And in that study, they found that when everybody in the group and all the participants, when they took a vigorous 30-minute walk 3 times a week, it had the medicinal effect of the medication Zoloft, an antidepressant, simply by walking. Daily exercise, at least 6 times a week, if not 7. Daily exercise has one of the most profound effects on your mood that you can imagine. My father has experienced depression over the past decade. Some years ago, I was on the phone with him. He was having kind of a low to middle day, he told me. I said, go to your rec center. He lives in Medina, they have a beautiful rec center, he's taken me there before. I said, go to your rec center and swim. He's always loved swimming, he's a great swimmer. I said, please, go today, go now and swim. He called me the next day, and he said, I took your advice. I went for a swim. I haven't felt this good, and I can't remember when. Move your body. Lift your serotonin and dopamine levels. Plan your way out of, not even plan your way out of depression, plan your way into an ever more joyful experience of life. That's the real message. It's embrace joy. Not escape depression, embrace joy, and these are the ways to do it. If we don't pay attention to every level of our being, we deny ourselves the fullest of the divine experience of life. Jesus said, let there be light. Actually, he didn't say that. He read it in Genesis. Right, that's where it is. And he did read it. I mean, Genesis had been written down already, and he was very familiar with it. What he did say is, you are the light. You are the light. And he was out in the light almost all day, every day. Our hunter-gatherer ancestors and the slightly later hunter-gatherer, farmer ancestors of Jesus' day, they had almost no signs of depression at all. No depression. It didn't exist. How do we know this? Because they go, they're gone. Those hunter-gatherers, they're not all gone. There are still cultures present on this earth that are living the same way. They are hunter-gatherers living as many of our prehistoric ancestors did. And those cultures have been studied today. There is no depression. It's because of this lifestyle. They're outside. What does that have to do? The light outdoors is 100 times brighter than the average indoor lighting. Our eyes were evolved to have optical receptors that are attuned to that light, that very bright light. And our brain requires that stimulation in order to produce what, do you think? Serotonin. Say it with me. Serotonin. Yeah, a lot of things affect the production of serotonin. 30 minutes of exposure to bright light will have a substantial effect on lifting the mood of everyone, whether you are feeling the signs of depression or not. It works for all of us. It lifts your mood. 30 minutes. So get outside, take in more sunshine, let your eyes and the optical nerves be stimulated. It's all part of the plan. It's part of the evolutionary divine plan. He got lots of sleep. They all got lots of sleep. When the sun went down, they all went to sleep. I mean, they only had so much lamp oil. It was very costly. And they just used a little bit and said, okay, that's enough. You know, lights out, lamps out. Yeah, shut the TV off. The TV, yeah. They got lots of sleep. The average American gets 6.7 hours of sleep each night. The average human being needs 8 to 9 hours of sleep each night. Just several days of sleep disturbance will begin to create a loss of concentration and memory. It will start to create irritability. A study was done, and they found that, I gotta go back to the light for a minute. There was a study done, and they found that people that were exposed to bright light for at least 30 minutes in a day, that they had a substantial increase in mood. And they did another study on a similar group, and they found that people who were exposed to bright light, they call it under the influence of bright light. Hey, can you picture this? You get stopped, and you're just giddy as all get out. You go, I'm sorry, officer. I'm under the influence of bright light. They found that those people were less likely to fight or be aggressive with others. Just from bright light. That's why the story is so good, I want to share that. So back to sleep. Setting up a well-established, sufficient sleep pattern is the single most restorative blessing you can bestow upon your body, your heart, your mind, and your spirit. The Dalai Lama says sleep is the best form of meditation. He's not saying don't do the other forms, but he's saying if you had to choose one, just one, if you had to, and we don't have to choose one, sleep is the best. He took vacations. Jesus took vacations. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I'm kind of using it as a metaphor for he prayed and meditated. When we pray, we connect with one another on a heart level. When we meditate, we're taking a mini vacation. Meditation is a mini vacation because when we vacate the thoughts that we are holding, whatever the quality of those thoughts are, when we vacate them, when we move beyond them into the thoughtless, then we've changed the entire landscape. We are really on vacation. And we realize the peace that is always present. The peace that is always present. In so many of the spiritual counseling sessions that I have been privileged to do over the past several years, I have invited those individuals that I'm sharing time with to exercise and heighten their meditation practice. And it's such a privilege to get the calls back saying, I'm doing it and it's working. I'm doing it and it's working. Jesus was on a mission. From everything we know about him, about Buddha, about Krishna, about Gandhi and Cain, they were all on a mission. They all had purpose. Imagine waking up each day without purpose, without a place to be or go. You picture it? Not a good feeling. It doesn't feel good. We all need purpose in life. A dear friend of mine recently lost her job. And yet she took an unpaid position with a nonprofit organization in order to be connected, to share her gifts, to raise her energy, and to increase her resume. All those benefits. And she also took my counsel on physical activity, because last week she calls me on the phone, and I hear this noise in the background, and it's like, what's that noise? And she said, I just want you to know that I took your advice. I said, what? She said, I took your advice. She said, I'm out walking briskly in the rain with an umbrella for more than an hour now. And she said, and I feel good. And she was laughing. And I said, well, you should start singing as well. So she would be singing and dancing in the rain. I began this talk speaking of one of our ancient ancestors that was left behind because they had a broken leg. None of us should ever be left behind. None of us should ever feel shamed or ostracized because of a condition that may be invisible and it may be intangible except to the one experiencing it, but none of us need to be left behind. Depression and other mental illnesses look like an individual problem. They are not. They are our communities matter. They are a community matter. It is our community that created the conditions under which we've seen this phenomenon increase. And our community can create a clear path away from it. If we pay attention to these very practical steps that are well within our control, well within our reach, that Dr. Velarde has pointed out, together with appropriate medical treatment and psychological care and our loving support of one another, with that, we can all be singing in the rain. Maestro.